Hello, my YouTube friends. Thank you for coming to my site tonight and for tuning in to the broadcast. Stay focused. That's what I want to, share with you. Just stay focused. A simple antidote to doing life. If you want to make sure you're doing life correctly, not making any mistakes, thinking through your thesis the way you ought to do it, you must stay focused. And you can't do it unless you stay focused and unless you concentrate on staying focused. And that's all I'm going to talk about. I want to share that with you. And I'm going to share with you how I stay focused and why it's particularly important for me to stay focused, especially as an older man. I like to be focused because if I'm not focused, I'm probably going to make mistakes. If you have a question that you want to type in while I'm doing this live, you can do that. And if I don't answer you during the time of the presentation, I'll surely get back to you and answer you later. Staying focused. It's an important thing. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's been happening on the news. I think it's important to talk about that also. Um, the news of our nation, what's going on around the world, what's going on in the lives of other people, um, all of those kinds of things, and how you, of all persons, are to keep your particular focus at the right place. Let me get the lighting just right here. Ah, yeah, that's what I want to do. Let's see. There. Now, you can't stay focused if you've never been focused. Oh, I see somebody's. Huh. Hi, Mark. Good to hear from you. Mark, tonight I'm going to discuss how do we stay focused. We stay focused by having something correct for us to focus upon. This was an interesting day. I got up and proud of my accomplishments in the lives of young men, helping them. I'm going to share one major event that happened in my life that was of such that I wanted to share with you um, about staying focused. And I hope that it will be encouraging enough to help you. And please ask questions. If I don't type in the answer, I will. Kind of glad you're tuning in, Mark, uh, because you get a chance to ask me these questions, and it's like I'm sitting right in the room with you, and I'll answer you. Now, I'm not going to tell you what how I stay focused because you're not me, I'm not you. I don't want you to be me, and I'm darn sure not trying to be you. I'm not trying to be focused in the way that you're focused, and I'm not trying to coerce you. to think like me, because I have decades on you. I'm doing life by how I already know to stay focused. And I'll tell you my secrets as I go through this. It's a kind of a thing where I just want you to chill out and ask yourself this question. What are you trying to focus upon? See, you can't stay focused until you know what you're trying to rightly focus upon. Okay? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that because I'm here. I'm listening to me and I'm learning from me also. And I've always told the truth on all of my webcasts. Let me share an event with you. I went out on, I think it was a Sunday night. They had some great events down in the West Hollywood area. And I've been feeling well enough to go out. Mark, I go out now. The young men, they say, PJ, you're old enough, not old enough, but well enough to get out in public again. I said, I don't want to go. You know me. I love to stay home. But he said, you need to get out in public and get around. So I said, okay, I'll go out. And I did. Dressed up, went out. I didn't get in until 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a time. I wanted to see if my heart could take being out in crowds and all that. And the places that I went, it was packed, just wall to wall people. Since COVID busted, everybody's out. Nobody's thinking about staying home. And so I went out. As a matter of fact, I'll be going out more often, but I told my driver to slow down because they all driving pretty fast. And I'm a rule keeper. When you ride with me in the car, even though it's your car and you driving, I will get on your case and tell you something. Uh, Not only well enough to get out for this increased improvement of my health, Mark, but you know what? Seeing people, understanding the culture that I'm living in. Most of my contemporaries, the people that I came up with, are gone. Their lives are over. The people that so influenced me, the older people that were the wisdom people that helped me when I was a young man, they're all dead. They're gone. None of them are left. I don't hang with older people, but when I went out to these events on a Sunday night, I got to tell you about an incident that I had, and it blessed me. And you guys know I'll be 80 in February, on February the 8th. I'll be 80 years old. Now I know because I look at myself and I said, John, you're an old man, but I don't feel like an old man in here. I'm staying focused. I don't feel like an old man. I want to get out. I want to get out amongst the people, the crowds. I want to hear the latest music. I want to see the latest fashions. Uh, isn't this a nice shirt that I have on? It belonged to a friend of mine. He came by here and he left it. and he had to leave town to go and take care of some business, and he left it here. So I washed it, and I'm wearing it, and it's comfortable and it's nice, and it's what the younger men wear now, and that's what I do. I don't want to dress in clothes that I dressed in back in the 70s and 80s. I want to wait a minute. I want to show you, Mark. When I go out, I like to wear shorts and clothes, and I think it has some writing on the back of this thing. Yeah, see? And I just I like to appreciate the world that I live in and the people that I live amongst and getting along. If the rule is once you get over 65, you have to look at TV because, like, one of my friends came in and he said to me, "Hey, I'm going to watch an iconic movie. Maybe you'd like to watch it." And I said, "No, don't want to watch any movies. I have to do a webcast. I have to talk to my friends. Some of them are sitting out there in their room. They don't know how to stay focused. I want to help them do that. And then I want to help some people that'll watch me later. You guys remember when I used to do pastoral work? I would bring you a Bible lesson, right? Some verses and stuff like that. Let me show you what doing good. Let me tell you a story about doing good towards people. Went out to this place. There's a lot of nightclubs on this strip. It's a place where the LGBT people go to that have a cocktail, hang out with friends, just hang out of all nationalities, all races in Los Angeles. They meet in West Hollywood at the Santa Monica area down there. And before I started having these physical ailments, I would get in my car. I remember when I drove my Silver Bullet, my Lexus convertible. I used to go down there all the time, park in a parking structure, go by myself, park and walk from the parking structure down to the Abbey. That's the club that I went to. I didn't even go to the Abbey. We went to other places further east from the Abbey and just had a good time. But this is what happened. I went down there with three of my friends. And I told them when I was in the car, I said, "Now you guys remember that I'm going down here and I'm recovering, but I can't walk that fast and don't leave me," because the crowds were thick. I mean, just thick, pressing. And I went out and we went in this place and I saw a few of my friends setting out in the sidewalk patio area outside of the club. And I wanted to get in to be amongst the people, the boom, 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 boom. I like that. I like the sound, the music, the excitement, and all of that. And people greeting their friends, talking, laughing, dancing, hugging, embracing, love, just love. No judging, no fussing, no fighting, no one disagreeing. Of course, some people get down there and they have problems because in all groups, LGBT and straight groups, you got insane people. And when I got down there, I didn't pray. I just said, "Man, I hope there's nobody down here thinking negatively about my brothers and sisters down here because I'm enjoying everything. I'm enjoying the life that is in the company of people that are free and know that they're free to themselves and don't let anyone else tell them what freedom looks like." That's what I love about America thus far. She's not as good as she could be, but she's good enough. Anyhow, I get down there and I just say, "Well, I know there's no way for me to get in this club because they had the guard at the door, and they had a line waiting. And this brother, this black man, came up to me and said, "Hey, I think I may have met him before. I'm not sure, but he knew me." And he said, "Oh, PJ, call me by my name that's on my plate there." He said, "Oh, PJ, I'll get you in the club." I said, and he said, "You don't know what I can do for you." I said, "No, man, it's what I can do for you because I'm always the one that's serving my brothers. Can't nobody do nothing. Nobody ever does anything for me. Nobody ever does anything for me." I do too, Mark. I love getting out amongst people. Don't let anybody fool you. I may be 79, but I still love getting out amongst people, especially black brothers and sisters that love to have a good time. Now, let me say this for those of you that know me as Pastor John, the, the preacher. I believe that you should have fun as a preacher too. But I believe that you should have fun as a human being, enjoying the people that you love to be around and ignoring and staying away from the people that give you a headache. Stay away from those people. People that don't like to go. Look, you know what? I hear it all the time. Every time there's a shooting or something happened at a club, well, you shouldn't have been there. The Lord was trying to tell you something. No, he wasn't. The Lord went out amongst them. Didn't the Bible say Jesus went out amongst the highways and the byways to compel the people to come? That's all I'm doing. I get to the place and the man said, "Oh, I know who you are on your social media." And I said to myself, how did he know about my little YouTube live? I don't advertise. See, I don't advertise. I don't do that. You don't know when I'm going to come on. I just spontaneously come on when I have something to say. And I have something to say. I'm going to talk about staying focused. Okay, the appreciation say, "You live too." Yes, yes, I do. I live my life, man. Listen, let me say, oh, I thank God that he left some life in me while I'm still here. I live because if I don't live, what am I doing living in this body? I have to live. I have to live. No, I shouldn't be home reading all these books. I've read them. I've read them and I've gotten tons of knowledge from them. And I put this knowledge on, excuse me, CDs, hard drives. I can watch myself on a cell phone. I can watch myself on a computer. But I have to help other people. So I go out there. And this man comes up to me and I put my arm around him and he put his arm around me. He said, "PJ, I'm going to get you in the club." And I said, "Wonderful," because I didn't want to stand in line. And I've never had anybody give me VIP service like that, ever. You have to understand, I've never had VIP service. I've always been a person that would get to the end of the line and wait. And if they closed the place before I got in, I'd say, "Well, just didn't make it. Come back the next time." But this guy takes me in. He takes me in, and it's so crowded in the club. I had to have my hand on the shoulder on the guy that was ahead of me. He just said, "Keep your hand on my shoulder, PJ." And I wondered how, because as we were going in, there were people coming out, and there were people passing me, and I had on my shades. Let me reach them right here. I want to show you how I look. I want to show you how I look when I went in the club, in case some of you were in there and you saw me. Well, this is how I looked when I was in the club. I had on these shades. Now, These are very dark shades. They cost me about, well, they cost me 250. They're expensive shades. They aren't cheap sunglasses. And I've had them for years. And I go in the club and look around like this. And it's dimly lit, but I have my hand on the shoulder on the man in front of me because I didn't have to see. I wanted to feel where he was going and follow him through that. Wait, I got somebody coming and I do want to come into him. So I'm in the club doing that. Uh, for decades, John Coleman was a professing Christian pastor. Now he's a homosexual who denies Jesus Christ, teaches that God is Allah. How pitiful. Okay. Yes, that is a cool look, Mark. And I'm glad this other person came on. You aren't telling the people anything that they don't know, but since we're talking about staying focused, I will address that before I leave the broadcast. And I appreciate you reminding my audience of who I am. I've always been a homosexual since I've been an adult, since I was a kid, 11 or 12 years old. And if anybody wants to hear my life story, I'll surely give it. And let me tell you, uh, for decades, that's right. And I do teach that God is Allah because God is bigger than your brain can conceive and mine can conceive. I don't believe the Anglo Saxon Protestant European view of divinity. No, I don't. And I think that all a person has to, um, all a person has to do is to stay focused. Hi, Tony. It's good to see you with us here. Uh, and I love you, brother. And I'm so glad because I love to do these videos. So I just want to encourage the people that want to come in and feel like they need to tell my story to other people. That's fine. That's okay. PJ's okay with that. I'm not mad at you. I'm not ashamed. Uh, I was ashamed before to come out and tell people that I was gay because they wouldn't let me preach God's truth. They would tell me that I'm not qualified to preach the truth of God's word because I like men more than I like women. Yeah. And, you know, if somebody's going to hate you because you like your own species more than any other species, well, shame on them. I'm telling you. Um, and watchmakers, okay. All right. Maybe I'll stay focused because I'm kind of like this, but let me tell you, hold that point because I'm only 23 minutes into this, and I would like to answer that to Watchman Wakes. Oh, this is Watchman Wakes. Okay. You know, there's always a watchman on the wall. I have one of my clips under my James series on a watchman on my website. You can go there and I really break down that watchman text for you. And it tells you what I'm doing. There's no watchman now for America because America is being America, the freedom country. Don't you just love it? But anyhow, I'll get back to that. I'm going to come back to your point because I don't ever evade issues. And so, Watchman Wakes, if you want to, you can call your friends and tell them on that I'm on live, and they can ask me questions too. I'd love it. Wouldn't that be great? Every time I came on, and I had 100 Christians lambazzle me with these biblical questions, and oh, I just thank God for fixing that heart up and that other surgical procedure that I had that I can answer questions like that. So you guys shoot the questions to me and I'll be sure to answer them. That's why I come on live. I just like doing it. I just like to and like Tony Frazier was in my class. Tony, no, I'm straight. Tony, no, I'm not crazy. Man, this is the one thing that I don't understand. And this guy that took me into the club, and he was gay too. He was a gay guy. And he said, I know you. I see, because they watch my programs, because I'm encouraging them. Don't focus on someone that does not agree with the life that you are living. Let them go to church and pray and kneel. And I don't teach anything different that I've ever taught. I just will not go to a church where people take people's money and tell them fairyland stories that they can't prove, and they like to argue with the in-house apologists. See, I'm an apologist. I taught and practice apologetics. If anybody knows what the Bible teaches about homosexuality, I do. And it don't teach what these people are saying. I don't know where they're coming from. But anyhow, let me get back to the point. This guy takes me into the club and I have a ball. We left that club, we went to another club, and then we left there and went to another club and a fourth one. And I hung out till, what was it? I think it was till the clubs closed. And I said, my goodness. And I stood on my feet all the time. I didn't have to sit down. My heart is totally strengthened. I was feeling like I was 41, 42 years old. And right there, I bow my head and I thank God that He gave me the strength to be out amongst my African American brothers and sisters that are gay. And we wasn't celebrating, we was just having fun, talking. I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen since I'd been in the hospital convalescing and everything. And it was a wonderful thing. So I had a wonderful time and I plan to continuously go out. All right. Mark is saying something to me. He says, focus on that message that will help you in your life instead of those persons, uh, yes, that you help with, uh, instead of that person who with that person is sleeping with. Yes. See, Mark, they can't get it out of their minds. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, I know I'm a handsome cat. Thank you. Please. I appreciate you knowing that I look good, but it's none of your business who likes kissing PJ. It's none of your business who like hugging me. And if you ain't got nobody hugging you and kissing you, you need to get with it. Come and go out with me. Oh yeah. When somebody come up, oh no, I'm not. Oh, aren't you afraid you get COVID? No, I'm afraid I may get choked up listening to you. But no, I don't want to. Thank you for listening. Now, something else I want to share with you. It has been a very interesting. It has been a very interesting salvation when it comes to. Oh, listen to this. Oh, this is thank you. Watch, watch Wakes. You are you awake? Watch Waker. You said you said that salvation only comes through Jesus Christ. When did I ever say that that's not true? I never said that that's not true. Salvation comes through Jesus Christ. Yes. If you want to accept that, as I do, accept it. Why do I have to say it for you to be satisfied? Why don't you believe for yourself? Why are you trying to pick a fight with someone that doesn't believe like you? Quiet is kept, I love you. I don't even know who you are. If I once knew you, why don't you use your real name? Who are you? That is not your name. See, that guy that wrote me here said, yes, sir. He said, my name is Tony Frazier. And I know Tony Frazier. Tony Frazier is talking with John Coleman. Who are you? Okay. Uh, 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 see, and then if you guys look at the stream, what he's saying, they're kind of like addicts with this thing. And I never was like that. I never was. When I came on the radio, when I came on with Harley Howard, I wouldn't make people, tell me what they believed in order to see. And that's the gimmick that people with religion play on you. And what God has told me to do in my latter years is to help these babies, especially the ones that are made to feel like they're animals by certain people that think that they're better than they are. And then he says, will you die? Will I die in my sins? And now that's a good one. And if anyone should ever ask you that, you should come back and say, what sins? I stand convicted. If there's any sin that I have committed, where he says, why not teach that homosexuality is a sin? Because it's not. It's what we were born as. Was heterosexuality a sin? You mean to tell me if someone knows in their mind that they are trans and they know who they are, that they are sinning, that they're going to hell because they know who they are? Is that what you're asking me to teach? And then the man asked me, why not admit that I'm a sinner? Because I don't sin. Only crazy people that believe that sins. I never taught that in church when I was a pastor. You see? And as you read the stream, you can see this person needs some help. And that's why I'm here. Now, I want to share with you another interesting story about staying focused. And I'm glad that he or she, because I don't know, it sounds like a woman. Women usually do this, are people that feel that they have the hand of God on them. I'm smiling because I'm thinking about the old work that I have on my page here. And you see all my work. I've never used those kind of threatening words to lambazzle people. Okay. And I've never used those kind of words, like your, what do you call them? What do you call those guys that give out snake oil back in the cowboy days? People would catch the flu and this guy would come into town on a wagon and he'd sell some snake oil. And these people would get it. That's how come I don't go to church anymore, because these people are jumping, screaming and shouting and playing the music all loud and falling all out and everything. If I want to have a jumping good time, I can put that on my big screen and jump up and down in my living room alone or with a few friends if I wanted to. But jumping up and down and that kind of stuff doesn't do that for me. You know what? And I love you for that. But you know what, Tony? I don't feel alone, because I believe this, that the help that gathered around my life since August of 1967, when I first picked up a sense that there was something spiritual going on in my life, up until this present date, I am so glad. But I've never been a crackpot. I've never been a crackpot. And Tony, you know, because you sat in the classroom with other intelligent Black men and women that ask reasonable questions, and you saw me in my library answer with many open books, and you were there when my wife would come in there after she had her stroke and bring a tray of biscuits, bacon and eggs, and coffee, and everything else to feed you brothers that came out to class on Saturday morning. My heart hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. I'm the same dude. I had what? I had 2 counseling sessions, no, 3 counseling sessions today in my home of encouraging people to stay focused and doing what they're doing. And one of them asked me a favor if I can help him. And I told him the truth. No, I'm not going to do you a favor. I don't owe you a favor. You're a grown man. Get up and do your own work. See, I try to tell people I may be a granddaddy, but I'm not a sugar daddy. And I don't take care of men like that. I don't do that. You see? And you still got your notes, man. I know you do. And you know what? When you have your notes and you can go back on those notes and they can help you stay focused decades after you took that class with the professor of philosophy and religion, you will be the better for it. And remember, there will always be naysayers. People that are gonna see, did you know what Pastor John did? Yeah, go. You know what, Tony? I remember when the crackpots in the church, and I would accept the membership of a lot of people that would join my church without checking their background. I um uh, I wouldn't have any difficulty accepting people. I say, why would you want to come and join the congregation that I'm leading? They say, well, because you're a good Bible teacher. Okay, I'll accept you as a good member. One lady asked me, she said, Pastor John. I said, what? She said, do you read minds? I said, no, but I can imagine what you're thinking. If you're thinking about that tow truck driver that you're riding with and sleeping with, that's your business. Because I don't want to discuss that behind this pulpit, in this building, with you. Whatever you do with that man is your business. And don't ask me if I read minds. I don't read minds and hearts, but I do know what I'm looking at. And that tow truck driver is no good for you. But if you continue to go out with him, give him whatever you want to give him, and good luck. And then I told him, I'm not God, the Holy Spirit, or nothing. You made that stuff up in your head. See, most people have never met a pastor like me. They have these pastors that place themselves so high up on the pedestal, so high. I used to minister at a time. Let me mention some pastors by name that knew me. Kenneth C. Omer. Kenneth Omer knows me. I wonder if Kenneth still watches my work. Can't say Fred Price because he told me that he was going to outlive me because I was of the devil, but Fred's no longer here. What happened? Charles Blake knows me. I was main guy fighting against all those people spending $50 million to build that cathedral down there. I'm the guy that was doing that on the radio. All these people know me. They know I've always been fighting for the guy on on the bottom. And look at this guy. He's still asking, yes, Allah is God. And the Muslims see him as such and bless their hearts for seeing him as such. Allah is God, the same God that is my God. There's only one God over this whole blooming universe, over everything. There's only one. There's only one. See, I'm a monotheist. I believe there's only one, and he is the one that my Muslim brothers worship. He is the one that my Brahmin brothers worship. Whichever you look up to God and say, help me, I'm a human, I'm hurting, I need some help, some love, something, I believe that God will answer that question. What's the matter with you? Yes, I believe in God. And yes, Allah is God. Then Mark said, my uncle, hey, my uncle goes to his church. What, Kenneth C. Elmer? Yeah. Yeah, Kenneth Elmer is a great exegete. Kenneth and I have been on forums all over this city. Kenny knows me personally. I was a traffic officer with Kenny's associate minister Reverend Reggie Spearman. I don't know whether Reggie's still with us. He lived over there in the Ladera Heights area. I mean, yes, I know these people. These people were very good friends of mine. And they knew that I was an apologist. And they knew that when the argument came up, that I wasn't going to back down. Everybody in town knew I wasn't going to back down. And no one, not one preacher, white nor black, even the white ones from the seminaries, from that MacArthur hellitution. I used to call it an institution, but it's a hellitution because, man, they covering up pedophiles and everything over there. Come on, man. Get out of here. And you trying to jump on Pastor John because he tell you that your laundry is dirty? Man, I'm not concerned about you. And as far as getting ready to go see Jesus, wait a minute. Y'all got me. Tony, they got me on a talking tirade. They know they can't get the professor like that in the classroom. Y'all would get me in there 5 minutes after 7, get me talking. It's going on 10:30, and the brothers didn't even want to leave the classroom after school was over. So I know about the good times we had. As a matter of fact, I can mention a pastor, this pastor in the church that pastored with me. I won't mention his name because he may not even want to be associated with me. And I don't want to hurt him. Now, wait a minute. My friend is asking me some more questions, and there's some interesting ones here. Uh, yeah. And then it says, I should say, I never met a pastor uh, that talks like, of course, Mark, and you're not, because most of them are into it for some money or some honey, if you get my drift. And I wasn't into that for neither of them. Let me see. Have I lied? Haven't you? You have lied, haven't you? No, I don't lie. There's no reason to lie. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I don't have to lie because I work for everything that I have. And if don't nobody want to give me nothing, I'll leave without nothing. So what do I have to lie for? Who do I have to please to lie to? No, I don't lie, brother. No, no, no. And then it says, have you ever stolen anything? No, I don't believe I have. I don't. Why would I steal when I can pay for it and work for it? There's no reason to steal. And I did not steal because the Bible didn't say, thou shalt not steal. And she, have you ever sinned? You have to get me to define what does sin mean. Now, I know you may say, miss the mark. You may say lie. You may say drink a little alcohol. I had 3 drinks a night that I went out, but I was with my brothers. And they made sure I stayed hydrated. Wow! I had a hell of a time. Yes, I did. But did I sin? No, I didn't fall down. I didn't stumble. I drank my water. Everything was cool. I mean, ooh, why don't you ask me some questions that I can't answer? Anyhow, let me tell you, this is, and that's what they do. They'll ask you a question. No, I didn't put this person to come up on my thing and do this. This person, I don't know. And then he says, uh, you have been a hypocrite. Now, that's an affirmative statement. I want you to give me the date, the incident, the time, and how have I been a hypocrite. First of all, I got to give you the definition of sin to help the people because we didn't define that for you. And then I would define what a hypocrite is. Okay. Yes, I know you are, Tony. First of all, sin, this is my definition. I take the definition that Saint Origen took about 198 years after Christ went to Calvary. The church fathers in Europe and Northern Africa were arguing for what they would tell the growing Christian population how to define their lives, and they had to define sin. And St. Origen came up with this beautiful little quibble. He said, sin is nothing less than the lack of conformity to the revealed will of God and the refusal of the creature to be related to his creator by faith. Now, you ask me, have I sinned? No. because everything I do conforms to the will and the way of God, and He is pleased with my life, and I am pleased with Him being pleased with it. And I'm glad that you are not God, whoever you are, because you would not let me into your heaven, but the God that I worship and all my gay brothers and sisters worship. Love that God. And if they can stay focused on that and not stay focused on things that can mess up their lives, because you sound like a foolish man. And wait a minute. And then he asked, is Jesus Christ God? Now that's a good one. And I'm going to answer that uh, later, because the other thing that you asked, was I a hypocrite? The term hypocrite in the Greek is hypokritos. Remember that one, Tony? Hypokritos. A hypocrite is one who professes to be something when in reality he is something else. Why would I tell you that I am a blasphemer, blaspheming person, and know that I'm not? I'm not that. I haven't blasphemed God. I affirm God for who I am. I thank God for who I am. I thank God for how I love. I thank God that I can love. I had a young man tell me today, he said, you know what? You love me stronger than my daddy do. You've loved me through some things I'd never get through, PJ. I love you. You know what he said? He said, I love you, my nigga. And I said, I love you too, boy. What's the matter with you? But you want me to walk around here, you know? Oh, my goodness. Yes, I'm a real person. Now, then he said, you have never been born again. Well, that's in the statement that you're trying to make about me. First of all, I don't know how old you are. I was born in 1944 for the first time, and I was born again for the second time in 1967. Yes, 67. When were you born? I give up. I mean, I rest my case, man. But you don't even know me like that. You can't. You would have had to go there through the decades with me. You haven't done it. You see, when you listen to you're listening to somebody that's caretaking your soul and they're bullwinkling you. I'm just as brilliant as Pastor John MacArthur. I just happen to be black. Why won't you listen to me? Are you tainted by my skin color? Wait a minute, have I ever been born again? Yes, August of 1967 is when Christ first revealed himself to me. Then the next question is, where is Mark Ramsey? I'm sorry, I don't know where he is. I'm not his keeper. Mark is a grown man. I'm sure he's out there somewhere. I see him now and then on Facebook. If you want to talk with him, type in Mark Ramsey and he'll talk to you. As a matter of fact, Mark Ramsey spoke with me about a year ago and said, you know, something about I upset him, but he's not going to hold a grudge forever. I don't know what that was all about. He hasn't talked with me. Since he won't talk with me about it, what am I supposed to do? Oh, my friends, let me tell you something. Never listen to people that do that. Let me see what Tony says. Uh, it was a rough day. Good to hear you. I remember we had to memorize that line on sin. That's right, because when we had our banquet in Inglewood, and I had a professor from Talbot Theological Seminary, Biola University, come and be the guest speaker at the Basics of the Faith conference. I said before, I think it was Lane Craig or one of those guys, one of those white boys. And I said, wait a minute, everybody stand up. We have to let the good professor know what sin is. And the whole auditorium, or the whole, it was in a ballroom where we had a dinner served, quoted Origen's definition of sin. I believe the white professor stopped, stared at the pulpit, and he said, "Oh, I've got to change." This is what he said. He said, "You taught these people Origen? You took them there?" I said, "All my students are smart. All of my students are head over heels over everybody else that goes to these churches in these towns, jumping up and down, speaking in tongues, spitting, coughing, taking people's money, they're committing all whorish acts and all that stuff." I said, "My students are brilliant black people." And the man said, "You know what? I have to change my whole lecture." And I'm glad that Tony said that he remembers that, because what that's what happened. We said it there. But now this person, look what he does. He goes and asks a rhetorical question. He shows his stupidity. Who is Jesus? I don't know. Who is he to you? Who is Jesus Christ? I don't know. Who is he to you? He asks again, who is he? See, that's supposed to get on my nerves. No, no, no. Stay focused, John. And you know what? I haven't even been touching my sativa today. Haven't even touched my sativa pipe because I don't need it. I only do my sativa when I run into a cloud. And look at this. He's starting to ask the questions again. Have you ever lied? Stay away from people like that. I want to tell my friends, if you can read this thing, because I don't know whether you'll be able to read it after this thing go off, but stay away from people like that. Because people like that. But let me tell you something. Talking about staying focused. I know a young man, because I've been in his life. He's been in my life since, oh, he was in college when I first met him, in his 20s. 20, as a matter of fact. And things are a little rough for him. I took him in. I said, I'd take you in for a couple of months. He was my first person that ever took in my home to help him out since Lucy died. And no, I never felt anything. There was no sexual feelings or anything like that for him. Nothing like that. I'm not that kind of a person. If I feel something for you and I like you, I tell you. And I'm not afraid to tell you, I tell you. Since I'm gay, I have feeling towards men. I didn't feel anything towards this man. As a matter of fact, the young men that I've helped, I don't go out like a lot of people advertise. Oh, he goes out and he grabs them and he takes them in his house and he distorts them and perverts their life. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And I would talk about your mammy, but I don't want to do that. And a lot of the people that knew me to study with me and turned against me and took my ministry from me and turned it upside down know that of me. They know I'm a decent cat. They know it. They're just too ashamed to talk to me. Talking about Mark Ramsey knows I'm a decent cat. And Mark Ramsey know I'll always be decent. I will never be foul. I would just not follow any man. What does my website say? I'm an independent thinker with good reason. Don't ever think because somebody else is thinking for you, because they'll come across like a nitwit, try to get you to fall into a trap of following. See, look at that. See, keep asking the same questions because that's what they do. They're on this tirade because they believe that they are putting forth power to get me to drop dead in the studio. That would be a privilege if I did, because I wouldn't have to worry about what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow. But anyhow, I've helped this young man for years. He moved in, moved out a couple of times. I encouraged him. I helped him. When he came back to me one time, he had finish his 2-year degree, get his degree. And I told him, I said, you're a smart kid. You need to continue to go to school and work on other degrees because your mother was right. Before his mother passed, she told him, you're the smartest of my brood, and I want you to get an education. So he was in junior college when he met me, and he came to live with me. Since that time, he finished his bachelor's in English from a prestigious West Coast university, UC Santa Barbara. All right. And he finished that degree at UC Santa Barbara in English. And he's been all around the world about 3 or 4 times. He's the father of a wonderful son in another country. And he is here in America. And I said, well, since you're here, you're going to have to go to work because that's what I train all you boys to do. Go to work. You can't live off me. I'm no sugar daddy. No, I'm not. I'm no sugar daddy. My house is my house, and I run a house to help young black gay men get on their feet. This man is not a gay man. He's a straight man. He's a straight man. And he got him a job when he came back to this country. And, I'll answer that in a minute. But he got him a job as an English teacher in a private school, and he's doing very well. And that's all I'll say for now. And I'm prayerful that he'll continuously move forward. He's one of my brightest students. All the brothers do well that come my way because they know, number one, PJ is not gonna. No, he's not. He's not going to do that. And they're men. They are not going to allow PJ to do that. All right. Okay. This person says right here, you were a hypocrite for decades. He doesn't give me anything to substantiate his opinion. So I'll say this. You, like all of us, have an asshole, and you're entitled to be one. You go right ahead. And then, let's see, when I first met you, PJ, I could tell right away that you were a solid person. Uh-huh. Just like Derek said you were. Right. I've always been a solid person. When you meet PJ, not like this John MacArthur guy, my friend, my replacement. Oh, I know you didn't expect me to say his name, did you? Oh, yes. But there's somebody that's been telling the truth on John MacArthur, and everybody's getting upset. Well, what do you think? Nothing. I'm going to leave that. That's for another show altogether. We don't want to go there. I appreciate that, Mark, and that is Tony. And then Tony says, "How is Dr. Klink? Dr. Klink is doing fine. I spoke with him a few weeks ago. We still communicate. Dr. Klink knows me. If Dr. Klink wants to put me down for being gay, he has to do it. He has. The people that are real know me. My real friends will love me. My real friends will always listen. You want to stay focused? Stay focused on real friends. Don't stay focused on people that are not. Now, wait a minute. Look what this person does. Who gave you the new birth? Allah? This person is a little off the rocker here. Here's another one. I can see you don't have the Holy Spirit. Wait a minute. Now this person is trying to tell me about, you see what I mean? That's why That you listen, let me tell you something. There is so much crazy stuff out there, you would not believe it. I just tipped over an hour, and let me end this up. And so that we can, wait, uh, yes, that's all he is. Very good entertainment, whomever they are. Either that or there's somebody that knows me and that are trying to make the Christian community look terrible. And if you are a person that knows me and are having fun with this and are not serious about your questions, you need to stop, because that's called fakery. That's how people build popularity for their pages and their sites. They have people call in and do things like that. I'm a straight up dude. I don't need that. But no, let me tell you about this teacher. I got to finish this. He went to teach his class, and he's black, of course, because all the men that I've helped that stay with me are black. And when he goes into the classroom, he teaches 5 classes a day, and he teaches in a middle school. He's black. He's the only black teacher in the school. And one of the students, the middle school student, told him that he isn't learning enough from him, that he has to teach him because he's not convinced that he's a good teacher. And so the student must have gone home and told his mother, and she came, and she's a white lady. And she came and said, my son complained and said that he's forgotten what you're teaching. She's questioning him whether he's a good English teacher. And so what he did is, and I know my boy, I know my son because I know him. When he was in a foreign country, he did that. He got him a job, a teaching job there, and someone that was the head of English education for the school tried to challenge him. And my son asked the superintendent of education a few questions in English, and they couldn't answer it. I remember when he was overseas and he wrote me about it. And I said, man, leave them people alone. Don't hurt them, brother. They don't know. They don't know who they're talking to. See, I taught all my students how. That's why none of my students can be. I'm thinking of one now, Xerix Reamer, Steve Reamer. You can't beat him out on an argument. You give him a minute, he'll get huffy and puffy and loudmouth on you. But because none of my students, if they think through my principles of logic and thought, can be defeated. You can't. But when you listen to a fool, and the fool is trying to get you off the track, take you off your focus on what you're supposed to do. Anyhow, what my son did is, the parent is in the classroom with her child, and my son asked her, because she says, I have a PhD in English. See, she has a PhD. She's a white woman. This was nothing but the epitome of white privilege. I have a PhD in English, and I've never heard of that. And so my son said, well, look it up on Google. That's all you do anyhow. Look it up on Google. And she looked it up on Google, and he said, and this happened today. And she said, well, I've never heard of this before. I kind of laughed, because like this fool here, this trying to tell me that I'm not a godly man. Oh my goodness. Listen, people, there will always be counterfeits. Fred Price was one. Eddie Long was one, because Eddie Long should have told the truth. Man, the way they carried that fool around on that chair, did you see that? Like he was a king. Do you remember that? They carried Eddie Long like he was on a king's chair. There will always be people that will bescathe God's name. I'm not one of them. I will love everybody, every religion. I now lean towards the faith of my ancestors, my forefathers. I study when I have a little extra time to look deeper into that because it makes sense. My ancestors help us through. I look at church history in the Black church and the way we worship and the way we do all of that works. I don't want to think like Martin Luther. I don't want to have to fight the Catholic Church. I don't want to, yeah, right. That's exactly what that was. You know it, Mark. Why didn't his church tell him to set that fool down in that chair? And he was looking like he was a fool. Matter of fact, I got another videotape for you to watch. I love Ken Omer. I will always love him. Ken is one of the most brilliant exegetes we've ever had in our community. But Ken got away with words. And if you don't listen sharply, you can be taken down Fruit Loop Trail. I listen succinctly. I recall Ken used to do some radio shows on KKLA. And when they had a lot of controversial things coming on, PK McCary is one of them. And PK, if you're back home from South Africa, I still want to do a YouTube live with you and apologize publicly from the way I spoke with you that night on that live television program on KCAL News. I'm still alive, PK, and I'm sorry. I was defending what I thought was a clarion faith of evangelical truth. So help me, Holy Spirit God. I didn't mean to talk at you like that. As a sister in the tribe that has been working for years for the tribe, and I know you wrote that book, The Black Bible Chronicles. I have it in my library here. You can write anything you want to write and let people decipher it on their own. See, I can do that. Now, if I can apologize to a woman that I treated poorly over 30 years ago, and it's on my website, look up. I think it's something about compromise. You can see it. When I had black hair and PK had black hair. Now me and PK both got white hair. We all old. She contacted me and said, 30 years has passed, John, since that faithless night. And I said, it sure has been. But he told me, I don't even, this guy here, this watchmaker or whatever, what Watchman Wakes. He's a watchman. He's a watchman wake. You need to go back to sleep. And figure it out. EJ, stop it. Well, it has been it has been a great night, and we're going to end up on that. Stay focused, people. And for those of you that watch me after the fact, I'm well. No, he's not out of troll material. You know what he is? You know what? I got to tell you, he's not real. Trolls aren't real. He's probably a person that agrees with me. And because I've had a few people tell me, because of my wit, that I should change my show into a babbling brook where I'm fussing with somebody about nothing. And I tell people, I'm not that kind of a person. I don't see the relevancy of doing that. I just don't. Um, I don't do my webcasts as often as I do because there's nothing out there to talk about. We see all these weather situations happening, people dying all over the world. There's going to be people dying. We're going to be dying here when that earthquake hits here. Oh, well, thank you so much. It has been a wonderful time. I'm glad that you can take about an hour and 10 minutes out of your day to join me. And stay focused on the God that loves you, on the God that provides food for you, clothing, shelter, on the God that provides safety for you. Extol him. Thank him. Thank him. If you need a pastor, if you need to go to church, go ahead. But remember, they're human and they wipe their butts just like you do. Don't think that they're anything better than you have ever been. They are not. They don't have the holy oil on them. They don't have special favor. They don't have anything. I never had special favor. I never claimed to have special favor. Thank you, Mark. You have a good night too. And I need you to stop by soon because I love you. And Tony, uh, I love you so much, brother. Stop by again. I love to see a young man and see how he's doing. Are you still working for the big one downtown? I think you are. You're the best uh, computer man they ever had on staff with them there, man. And I love you a lot. So I'm gonna say yes, sir. That's it, Tony. See, Tony, you keep on doing what you're supposed to do, and don't listen to anybody else that's gonna wreck your life. And for those of you, my brothers, my gay brothers that I saw down on the boulevard, I'll be looking for you again when I get down there. You bring life to me and to my sisters also. As a matter of fact, I think I'm invited out to a Taco Tuesday again, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to get out and enjoy myself. God bless you, and thank you for coming to my page. Bye-bye now. There we go.